Today is May the 5th, and May at this house could be something other than, what people might think. But that's okay. I am, excuse me, I am at the Hammons House, and today is the 5th of May. And today's sermon has not been scripted. And most people don't. I know they understand what scripted means. But it is recorded. I am recording it. It's May 5th, 2019. And I am the youngest in the room. And there's not a whole lot of people in the room. But I am the youngest. I just thought I'd make a note of that so everybody would know. But anyway, a few years ago, about 21, on the 12th, my dad passed away, and I was in the hospital room. I had to call Mama. Of course, she was expecting the call. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big surprise. Nobody knew the hour, but I was there at that hour. And that was 21 years ago. And I am Junior. My birth certificate proves it. And since then, my mother died. And a lot of other people have died. A lot of people died in 20 years. Even in this small town around here. And I am in a small town. You can't imagine really how small it is. But I'm here today, and I'm thinking about the promises of God. And some of the first things that God said. I have a Bible. It's not a KJV. And I do read it. I read it. I read it quite often. And one of the first things that God said to Adam was something about a tree in the garden. And since there was a Garden of Eden, in my mind, there could be a city of Eden. And that's in my mind. But anyway, there was a Garden of Eden.
One option is Southern Magnolia Landscaping on Highway 820 in Ruston. Is that the one you're looking for?
Thank you, but it's not.
Okay.
Sometimes the phones today will do things that you don't expect them to do. But I was not looking for anything having to do with a magnolia tree. I'm talking about God, what he told Adam. Adam was the only man alive. There were no more men for God to talk to. Adam was the only one. And I know why Adam was the only one. Because he was the only one God had made and made alive. But that was a long time ago. There were some trees in the garden. And if you read carefully, slowly, you find out there was a serpent that was really crafty in the garden too. And he got cursed big time. Now, I don't know how you can have somebody cursed big time at that time and think that he's so great today, because I don't think he's great at all. I don't like the devil, and I make it known. And most people that like the devil, well, that goes for itself. There's no need to me, deal with that. We're talking about Adam. God put Adam to sleep. He didn't stick something in his arm to make him go to sleep. Yeah, they stuck something in my arm, and I went to sleep, so to speak. And they'll stick something in my chest next week, and I will become the recipient of some chemotherapy. Yeah, that's just the way it is, folks. But do I look upset? Does it look like it's bothering me? It's not. But this was years ago, and somebody said, well, Bob. I said, yeah, I've heard that so many times. Bob. Yeah. Since my name's Bob, I'm 72 years old. I've heard it quite regularly. But I did get a Bible back in the 1980s. After I had been to I had enjoyed a Saturday night. Yep. I was out with people, and we were enjoying the dance floor. Yeah. I haven't enjoyed the dance floor since then. That's because I found out that the dance floor, many people have died on the dance floor or from the results of a dance floor. Let's just leave it at that. But anyway, Adam and Eve, after Eve, was made out of Adam, they were together, and they were in this beautiful garden, a garden like no one has ever seen. And I've seen some pretty gardens. I really have. But things progressed, and God got upset that he had. God was grieved in his heart that he had made man. But Noah found favor or grace in the eyes of the Lord. Yep, Noah was a righteous man. And God came up with a plan. And somebody said, well, Bob, don't you know God had this plan before he ever took Eve out of Adam? I said, no, I don't know that. I'm never going to know that. I'm never going to believe that. You can if you want to, but I won't. Yep. God had a plan, and it included a flood. And Noah worked 100 years on building a boat. And some animals were saved, and a few folks. God killed the rest. That's the only way I can put it. God killed the rest. That was his business. And he can do what he wants to do whenever he gets ready. I have found that out. But anyway, later on, Moses comes along. But Moses doesn't come along until after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob saw God. You can say they didn't. I will say they did. And Moses, later, he had killed an Egyptian. By the time he meets a bush burning, he's got a wife and a couple of kids. And God got his attention. And he took his shoes off. Yep. His command was, take off your shoes. Moses, he didn't have shoes like me, but he took them off. And God talked to him. And God told him, he said, I got something I want you to do. I want you to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. Oh, you don't know how bad what Moses said unless you read the book. Moses says, God, don't you know I'm not good at talking? Moses come up with all kind of excuses. And God had an answer for every one of them. God told Moses, didn't I make the mouth? Didn't I make the tongue? And you know what Moses had to say? Yes, you did. Moses had a good time. Well, I don't know how good a time he really had. I mean, the people rebelled against him. They did a whole lot of things. God got angry one day, and he told Moses, if you will just come over here, I will kill every one of them, and I'll have a covenant with you. And Moses said no. So since Moses said no, we have what we have today, a new covenant. Yep. I am a believer, and I believe in the new covenant. I'm waiting for the Lord Jesus, the Son of the living God, to appear. And when he appears, I don't think people understand what God can do with his power. I'm not talking about Jesus' power. Although Jesus does have some power and authority granted to him, so do I. I have authority to preach, and I enjoy it. And I'll be preaching some more before Mother's Day, which is next Sunday. Yep, I'm waiting to see Jesus. And I'm going to put it in here for those of you who have, seen the other videos. When I see Jesus, I won't be looking at God. I will be seeing my brother face to face. And that is today's message. And it went almost 13 minutes. I'm probably not going to apologize, though. I'll just stop it right now. I don't know what I'll title this. That may be the title. Hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday.